First thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and remove all your spin nuts, and you'll see where the holes are for where these mount inside the car. The spin nuts just literally screw right off, and once you have them loose, you'll be able to remove the tail lights. Another thing we suggest is going ahead and taking off the side rear bumper straps, which on this car are going to be located right here. By doing that, you're going to be able to loosen up the rear bumper itself, the actual impact bar here, and then drop the rear bumper down a little bit. By dropping down the rear bumper, you're able to get the tail light out of the hole without it getting caught up on this lip here or on this bottom lip and damaging your paint. Now where the bolts are for that, you're going to see there's one right here, which we have loosened. We have another here, and then you're going to have two on the underside of the car in the same locations. You're going to loosen up all four of those, and then the rear bumper will be able to drop to an angle. Now as you can see, we've already got our tail lights disassembled, and these tail lights that were on the car are just pure junk. I mean, they're ready to get replaced. Took the housings themselves, resprayed our reflective paint in there, and doing that we just used some silver Krylon paint, and what it does is just makes the units reflect better. This area here we didn't do because that's covered with one of these accent filler panels. So we're going to be replacing our tail light lenses. We're also going to be replacing our outer gaskets. Then we also have a new Z28 emblem to put on this set. Alright, so what we have here, we have our OER replacement tail light lens, and then we're also going to install a new pair of the OER replacement outer tail light gaskets. We've got the driver's side and the passenger side. And our first step is to go ahead and we're going to install our gasket and then our outer case back onto the tail lights. Go.
Once you start reassembling the taillights, what you want to do is you want to get the edge of the lens on inside the groove on both sides, and on the inset part you will see it has to go inside the groove for it to mount up properly. Okay, as you can see here, we have the lens intact as of right now. I have taken the gasket, and it does slide from the little insets, slides in just like that all the way around. And once you get all those in, you can start threading your bolts and just thread them just all accordingly equal. I mean, just slide them around. Just if you do this one a half a turn, do this one a half a turn. If you do this one half turn, do them all equal turns, and just work your way down to tightening all the way.
Go.
As you can tell on a stock unit, the gasket does not go all the way around the corner of the taillight. It does sling right in between it, so you do have to get it exactly right. On the inset part, it does have to come all the way up to the end of the gasket where it's got the little inset lip, and once you get that inset lip all the way to, you can go ahead and start tightening them down.
Go.
Once you get the studs started tightening, you do have to work them all the way down. So be very, very careful once you start tightening them up, and try to hold on to the edges of it and squeeze just a little bit. That way you don't break the plastic stud coming out. But they do have to be 100% flush with the back. And once you get all those tightened, you can start putting the studs in to retain the taillights into the car. These right here, they go in with the coarse thread on the inside, and they face like that. Okay, once you have the studs all in and tightened all the way down to the base, you are ready to assemble your fuel door. So there she is.
Go.
Once you start to assemble your fuel door, what you do is you slide the Z28 emblem through the two slides. There's two holes that slides right through, and you start your extrusion nuts. You start them by hand. You take your socket and run them down just hand tight. You don't want to over tighten them because you strip the plastic. And there's the Z28 fuel door emblem. And once you get that, you take your fuel door and you slide it into place like so, and you start your two bolts.
Go.
Once you start assembling your fuel door, you take the two, there is a slide position on the fuel door which allows it to slide back and forth. What you want to do is you want to run the nuts down just pretty much hand tight to where you can still slide them on the top and bottom.
One.
Once you get the nuts just tight enough to where they keep it in place, what you want to do is you want to take and see if the fuel door closes and slide it to, and make sure that this right here does not pinch on the actual taillight itself. The fuel door just stays probably say a 1/4 inch away, and make sure it's snug on the opposite side once you start installing it on your vehicle. Okay, on the passenger side taillight, we finally have the assembly ready to go in the car. We did it just as same as the driver's side. You make sure the gaskets are all seated in correctly and tighten up the bolts just very slowly, one at a time. Do them all equally until you get it all the way down, and that is your final assembly.
Now we loosened up the rear bumper bolts, and the passenger side slipped right down into place. What you do is hook up all your lights, and we took an extra 5 minutes to go through all the lighting, make sure all our bulbs were good prior to put it in. Otherwise you're going to be pulling it right back out. Once we have the other side in, we'll go ahead and we'll put that bumper strap back on. But first off, we're going to hit this driver's side tail light. Hook it all up, we'll tighten our bolts all back up, get our straps back on. We've installed our driver's side tail light onto the car now, and then as we anticipated, we had to do some adjustments for the fuel door. So we loosened up the two bolts, which you can access there, scooted the fuel door over to the driver's side a bit more, and then tighten them back down. The fuel door shuts properly. Now in our final assembly, what we're going to be doing now is we're just tightening down all the spin nuts. We're also going to re-tighten down the rear bumper cover, and then we're going to go ahead and add our straps back onto the side. Those are the bumper retainer straps on this car. Alright, so now we have our tail lights all installed. got dark on us, but what we're gonna do is kick off the lights here and let you see these things at night. Kick on the turn signals there. As you can see, they're incredibly bright. Clarity on these is wonderful. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it all up, but we reset those reflective backings to silver, and what it does is it really brightens up the tail lights as well.